Hi guys, so I asked how y'all wanted this tutorial, if you wanted it to be just text or the video. It was kind of split, so I just figured, I'll do both. So let's get started. First we're going to make our canvas. It's going to be 245 by 300 pixels. So there we go. We're going to go ahead and fill this in with whatever color. If it doesn't work out later, we can always change it. Okay, maybe not change it because it'd be kind of difficult, but it's a possibility. Okay, so next we're going to go to our marquee tool and go to fixed size, and do the width of 200 and a height of 96 pixels. And just click on your canvas so the entirety of the selection can show. Alright, and after you've done that, just right click and click, you might want to make a new layer first. And right click and click stroke. You want it to be 10 pixels, you want it to be white and inside. Alright, so deselect that, duplicate that layer 2 times. You can either press Ctrl J or you can click this little button right here in the corner. And I'm gonna select all those layers and put them in a folder. So just click them and drag them there, and we're gonna name them outlines so we don't get confused with our frames for our GIFs later. So select your layers again and press Ctrl A or just select your entire canvas. Go to Layer, Align Layers to Selection, Horizontal Centers, and then you can align it to the vertical centers as well. And don't deselect it just yet. Click your top layer, or what I renamed as my top. Go to your Align Layers, and we're going to align it to the top edges. And deselect, and just press Ctrl and press your page down, or your down arrow key 3 times, just to move it down 3 pixels. We're going to do the same with the bottom, except we're going to align it to the bottom, obviously. Select your entire canvas again. And move that up 3 with the same technique. Alright. So now let's duplicate that. Just drag that down to where your duplicate button is. We're going to name that as second outlines. We'll name this one first. Alright, we're going to press Control and Shift so we can move these up. Oh, or maybe it's not going to want to work today. Okay. And basically it'll snap to where it needs to go. When you drag it up, it'll snap. So basically just move it to where only half of that first box is showing. Then go back to your layers and duplicate that bottom layer. Okay, and we're going to rename it very bottom. Okay. And we're going to move this one down. And I'm going to move it, there we go. So there's that, and I'm going to make sure that they're all aligned to the center. Okay, good deal. So now we can duplicate that one more time and turn off that visibility. And we're going to drag it up just a little bit more to right about there. And then it moves so we can just align it back to the center. Alright, and that's it for the transition. So next we can move on to adding our GIFs. Okay, so I've already made my GIFs, or GIFs, whatever you want to call them, and I'm going to open them. So basically, probably explain to you why we did this first. What I did, I made my GIFs like I usually do. I'll leave that tutorial, or a link to that tutorial, in the description and also in the blog post. So I did that so I'll have all the colorings merged together. Basically just saved it like I usually would, and now I'm just going to open it again. So go like you'd be opening a video to make a GIF. Just go to import video frames to layers. There we go. Okay, and type an asterisk into the box and just click enter or load and find your GIF. And then just click load from beginning to end. Alright, there we go. I'm going to do that for all three of mine. Alright, so at this point you can establish which you want in the middle, which on top, and which on bottom. So which one you want to play first, second, and third. So right now, I'm going to go back to our first outlines here. We're not going to copy our first frame of our first GIF yet. We're just going to move on to our second one. Oh. I recommend downloading PhotoFiltre for this. You can also do it in Photoshop, but I just found it easier this way for me personally. So this is where we're going to paste our transition pictures. So let's get started with that. Alright, move on to, you're going to copy the first frame of your second GIF that you're going to use. And we're just going to put that where it goes. We're going to put that here. We want that one to play last, I guess. I'm going to rename it whenever it wants to come up. This is going to be Don't Stop first. And copy the first frame of that one too. Of our last, or second GIF that's going to play, I guess. Alright. I'm going to rename that over here. Amnesia first. Right, we're just going to copy this and paste that here. Alright, so we just copied that one and pasted it into PhotoFiltre. And so now we're going to turn off our first outlines and turn on our second. And move up our two caps that we just put in there. Oh. And if you keep messing up like I do, your mouse just wants to move it every which way, just go back and align it to the horizontal centers. Okay. So now we're going to have to copy our last frame of our first GIF here and paste it right here in this one. I'm going to change that to a perfect last and move that up. Okay, and we're also going to duplicate move this back so I don't keep clicking, making selections. We're going to duplicate our GIF that was on, or our screen cap that was on the top here before it moved up. That way it can start showing on the bottom. We can just move it back down. Make sure that we got it in the right place. Okay, and so we can copy that one and paste it in here. Alright. And we're going to turn off our second outlines, and I never renamed that to third outlines. I'm going to turn on our third ones and move them up one more time. Okay, and just copy that again. Right, and then go back to your first outlines. You can go ahead and turn off whatever layer is going to be disappearing up top there. Then move it up just a little bit again. Oh goodness. Alright, now that we've done that, the next step is to make a new document. Alright, I'm going to keep that other one up just in case I made mistakes earlier. Alright, I'm going to find my very first transition right here. I'm going to paste that on here and use my wand tool just to select the inside of here and erase it. Oh, I'm going to delete this background layer. So, there we go. Basically, just use your wand tool right here, click in the center, so it'll select the blue layer that's inside of it, and just delete it. Backspace, your delete button, or right click, and there's so many ways to do it. Use your eraser tool. This is where our first GIF's going to go. So we're going to select all of our frames on our first one. Oh, make sure your animation bar is up. If you don't have it up, you can just click Window and you'll find it down there. They're all alphabetized. Okay, so once you've selected all of your frames, click Copy Frames. Alright, and let's see, my GIF was 42 frames. So we're just going to make 42 frames here. There's an easier way to do this, I know, but I found this to be, I'd like to dumb it down a little bit for myself. And this just makes sense to me. Okay, and so I'm going to change all that to 0.1 since that's what I want my frames to be. And I'm going to click this little drop down menu right here, or I guess not really drop down because it goes up, and click Paste Frames over Selection. And I'm going to go over to my layers right here and put them in a folder so I can move them all together. Alright, I'm going to select my first frame here and then select them all right here. But just make sure you click your first layer, your first frame first, or it'll just mess everything up. This is why I personally prefer smart objects, but frames work a lot better for this tutorial. And I'm going to move that GIF under the first transition I have here. And we're going to align that to the center and then to the horizontal centers and the vertical centers. And there's our GIF, so that will play. Now you can now you click your very last frame right here, and you're going to make a new frame with this little button right here on the bottom toolbar of your animation bar. So now you'll have, well, I personally have 43 instead of 42, which is how many my first GIF was. And I'm going to turn off the visibility of both of these. And find, oh, that's not it. Right? And copy this one and paste that on top. You're going to have to go back, click the frame before that one and hold shift and click to the first one and turn off the visibility. That way you'll have a smooth transition here. Right, and make yet another one and turn off that visibility there. Pull up your next transition and paste that on top. And then go back and turn off the visibility once more. Make sure that everything works. We're just going to go back a few frames. Awesome. Alright, and our next, I can't talk. You're going to go ahead and copy your next transition. And you can turn off the visibility of that one now. And when you paste that on top, obviously you're going to have to keep going back and turning off the visibility there. Okay. Alright, we're going to play it through and make sure that works. It's going to be extremely slow and lagging. Alright, and as you can see at the end, that last GIF, it doesn't exactly loop perfectly, so next we're going to do the transition. Alright, now we're going to do the final transition. And to do that, we're going to go back to what we were doing earlier. And well, let's see if we have it in here. We basically need this one where we have the original of each, the first frame of each. And so we're just going to go back and find all of our first ones and turn those on and put them where they're supposed to go. So it looks like everything's in its place except for the don't stop one. We'll move that back to where it goes. Alright, and we're going to copy that and we're just going to put that in a new document. That way we can erase what we need to. Right, I'm going to go ahead and close out of all my little GIFs down here because I don't need them anymore. Alright, we're going to fill our background layer with the same color we have on our background here. So basically just press I on your keyboard or just click the tool right here. Click on that and press G or click your little fill tool and fill in your background. Find your wand tool again and we're going to erase all the blue that's on the original image here. So click on the blue layer and just press backspace or delete. You won't notice that it's gone because you have your background layer right here. But if you turn the visibility of that off, you can see that it's gone. And alright, what we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and separate these three into different layers. So just edit, alright, and just cut that and then paste it. I'm using my shortcuts on, you know what, actually, you can just oh no, wrong button, I'm not doing well. Alright, you just make a selection and right click on it and click layer via cut and do that for each one of them. And I'm going to zoom in just to make sure that I'm getting all the edges. Oh, well, you don't have to do that last one, obviously, because it's going to be in layer by itself. So we're just going to rename them so we all know what they are. If you don't want to rename it, you don't have to. Alright. Now for our first transition, we're only going to need Amnesia and She Looks So Perfect. So we're not going to need the Don't Stop one just yet. And to do this, we're going to duplicate the She Looks So Perfect one. So we'll have two of those. And we're going to turn off the Amnesia one for right now just so we want one of our She Looks So Perfect ones right here and one right here. Alright, so instead of the amnesia one, I lied, we're going to need the don't stop one for this one. But the she looks so perfect one is going to stay right where it is. And we're going to move the don't stop one. Oh, if you select the right layer, it might help. Just drag that down here. These are basically just random placements. You don't have to be very specific with it because it's just a transition. Alright, and move this one up just a little bit. Alright, and this one, or the one that's on top, we're going to change the opacity of that to 60. Looks good. And the bottom one to 80. Or maybe 70. No, 80. I'll move this one to 60. And this one to 50. Basically, you just need to play around with it. It doesn't have to be perfect, of course. And this one will be 70. Don't stop one will be 70. Nah, 80 probably. Yeah, 80's good. Right, and we're going to go ahead and paste that as our next transition on this one. So make a new frame and paste it on top. Okay. And then, then turn off the layer here. Alright, and moving on. The next one you'll need is the same ones. We're going to move both of the She Looks So Perfect ones. We're going to turn off this layer so I can show you what I'm doing. Just move this one down. Oh, move down the second She Looks So Perfect where they're overlapping. Make sure they're all centered. Then we'll move the don't stop one up to right here. We're not changing any of the opacities. Right, so just copy that one and make a new layer or a new frame and paste it there. Then you go turn it off on all the other layers. Oh, and I went ahead and made the new frame for the next one because I'm getting a little ahead of myself apparently. Alright, and now we're going to need the amnesia one. And we won't need the She Looks So Perfect one anymore. And we're going to duplicate this one 3 times, or duplicate it twice so we'll have 3 of them. And basically move it down just a little bit so they're still overlapping. Oh, how did that even happen? Alright, so there we go, and then we're going to change the opacity to whichever one's on top will be the least opaque, so we'll leave that at like 50, and then this one will be 70. Alright, my screen recorder cut off once again, so alright, so our first one's 50, Our second one's 70, and the next one we'll leave at 80. Move it up just a little bit though. Okay. And then we will need our amnesia one. I'll put that under, oh no, under all of these. At a nice 80% opacity. Sounds good. I'm going to make sure they are all centered. Copy it and put it on top. Create a new frame if you need to, but I did mine just a second ago. And turn that off. Alright. Now let's see what it looks like, see if we need to do any more touching up. Alright, looks good. And so just save it for web and devices like you usually would, and you're done.